In 1991, the Five Heartbeats captured a legendary brotherhood, but the years since have been a haunting struggle for survival. From leading ladies who vanished into total isolation to stars who died tragically just hours after their final performance, their reality will leave you speechless. Stay tuned. The shocking downfall of your favorite heartbeat is about to be revealed. Diahann Carroll as Eleanor Potter. Eleanor Potter, the sophisticated maternal presence who offered wisdom and a glimpse of the high life to the young men, was portrayed by the legendary Diahann Carroll. Born July 17, 1935 in the Bronx, New York, she was 55 years old when her presence elevated the film from a simple musical to a piece of cinematic history. Diahann Carroll passed away on October 4, 2019, at the age of 84 in Los Angeles, California. Her death followed a long, private, and incredibly brave battle with cancer, marking the end of an era for Hollywood. At the time of her passing, her net worth was estimated at $25 million, a fortune she used to support various cancer research foundations and arts programs for underrepresented youth. She left behind a daughter, Suzanne Kay, and a legacy that includes being the first black woman to star in her own TV series, Julia, in a non-stereotypical role. Beyond the glamour, Carroll's life was a rigorous test of endurance against the dual weights of racism and personal heartbreak. She survived 4 tumultuous marriages and the painful collapse of her high-profile engagement to David Frost, all while carrying the exhausting responsibility of being a racial pioneer. The stress of being the first black woman to win a Tony for No Strings and receiving an Oscar nomination for Claudine created a life of constant performance. Ultimately, her grace became her most powerful weapon. Her work on the primetime soap Dynasty broke further ground, proving she could play a bougie villain just as effectively as a hero. Even as she fought breast cancer in the 1990s, she continued to work, appearing in Eve's Bayou to provide the same mentorship she displayed in the Five Heartbeats. Her life remains a masterclass in how to turn the scars of a pioneer into a crown of undisputed royalty. Robert Townsend as Donald "Duck" Matthews. Donald "Duck" Matthews, the group's principled songwriter that kept the band from splintering, was portrayed by Robert Townsend. Born February 6, 1957 in Chicago, Illinois, he was 34 years old when he injected the film with a sense of urgency and creative purity that mirrored his own fight for independent black cinema. He also directed and co-wrote the film. His performance felt less like acting and more like a manifesto for artistic survival in a predatory industry. As of 2026, Robert Townsend is 69 years old and remains a powerhouse in the industry, transitioning into a prestige era of his career. He is riding a wave of critical acclaim for his directorial work on high-profile series like The Bear and Kaleidoscope, while also developing a long-awaited documentary about the history of black comedy. With an estimated net worth of $5 million, he has moved from a struggling independent creator to a respected elder statesman of Hollywood. Behind the scenes, Townsend's drive for perfection led to significant personal fracture. The immense pressure of self-financing his early breakout, Hollywood Shuffle, using multiple credit cards, created a pattern of workaholism that strained his 11-year marriage to Cherry Jones, leading to their 2001 divorce. This period was marked by the lingering sting of his 1980 Saturday Night Live rejection. His resilience, however, turned that pain into a historic career. By creating the hit sitcom The Parent 'Hood, he provided a stable platform for black actors, while his work on The Meteor Man showcased his versatility as a pioneer of black superhero cinema. Even as he manages the physical toll of decades in high-stress production, Townsend remains a symbol of self-reliance, proving that a creator can lose a marriage or a steady paycheck and still build a lasting empire on his own terms. Michael Wright as Eddie King Jr. Eddie King Jr., the volatile, charismatic lead singer whose meteoric rise was matched only by his tragic descent into addiction, was portrayed by Michael Wright. Born April 30th, 1956 in New York City, he was 35 years old when he captured the jagged edge of fame and the hollow eyes of a man losing himself to the needle. This role became a double-edged sword, cementing his reputation as a formidable talent. As of 2026, Michael Wright is 70 years old and lives a life of quiet, guarded semi-retirement, occasionally appearing in select independent projects and theater workshops. Though he remains a cult icon for his roles in Oz and Sugar Hill, he has largely retreated from the Hollywood machine to focus on his health and mentorship. With an estimated net worth of $1.5 million, he is currently involved in a project titled The Acting Lab, where he teaches method acting to underprivileged youth in New York. The haunting intensity Wright brought to the screen often mirrored a difficult reality in his private life. Following his 2000 divorce from Mitzi Lau, he faced a period of profound isolation and professional stagnation as the industry struggled to look past his tortured artist persona. This era was characterized by a lack of leading roles, forcing him to navigate the emotional weight of being a world-class talent. Despite these setbacks, Wright's legacy is defined by his uncompromising authenticity. His unforgettable performance as Omar White in the HBO series Oz reaffirmed his status as a master of complex, damaged characters. In 2026, he stands as a survivor, proving that a career defined by depth is far more enduring than one built on fleeting fame. Harry Lennix as Dresser, the group's reliable bass singer and the muscle who provided both vocal and physical stability, was portrayed by Harry Lennix. Born November 16, 1964 in Chicago, Illinois, he was only 27 when he brought a grounded classical weight to a cast of high-energy performers. His portrayal of the straight man in a world of chaos made the group's internal conflicts feel real and high stakes. As of 2026, Harry Lennix is 61 years old and stands as one of the most successful and recognizable members of the original cast. After a decade-long run as Harold Cooper on The Blacklist, he has moved into executive producing, recently launching a production company focused on Shakespearean adaptations with diverse casts. With a substantial net worth of $4 million, he is currently a major voice in Chicago's cultural scene, funding theater programs and appearing in high-budget blockbuster cameos, including rumors of a return to the superhero genre in a 2026 multiverse project. Lennix's ascent was a calculated battle against an industry. He navigated the crushing stress of being too polished for the stereotypical roles usually offered to black men, a frustration that nearly led him back to full-time teaching. The mental toll of this limbo stage was immense, as he fought to maintain his dignity while working as an extra in films like The Package just to stay close to the craft he loved. He eventually triumphed by becoming the commanding presence of modern cinema, utilizing his deep voice and stature in major works like the Matrix sequels and Man of Steel. His performance in Titus, alongside Anthony Hopkins, remains a testament to his elite skill level. Today, Lennix is not just an actor, but a cultural architect, using his success to ensure that the next generation of Chicago artists doesn't have to face the same invisibility that almost silenced his own voice early on. Leon Robinson as J.T. Matthews. J.T. Matthews, the smooth, womanizing, but ultimately loyal brother in the group, was portrayed by Leon Robinson. Born March 8, 1962 in New York City, he was 29 when he brought a cool, effortless confidence that made him an instant heartthrob and a focal point for the film's younger audience. As of 2026, Leon is 64 years old and has successfully reinvented himself as a dual-threat entertainer, balancing a steady acting career with his passion for reggae music. He continues to tour with his band, Leon and the Peoples, recently releasing a high-charting album that has found success across international markets. With an estimated net worth of $1.5 million, he is currently active in the TV movie circuit and has a recurring role in a 2026 drama series centered on the Atlanta music scene. Leon's journey has been complicated by the heavy burden of public expectation and the scrutiny of high-profile relationships. His time with Real Housewives of Atlanta star Cynthia Bailey often turned his private life into tabloid fodder, creating a stressful environment as he fought to protect his reputation as a serious artist. The emotional labor of co-parenting their daughter, Noelle, while facing the industry's tendency to typecast him based on his looks, led to a period of professional exhaustion where he felt he had to work twice as hard to prove his versatility. He ultimately conquered these hurdles by leaning into his musical roots and taking on transformative roles like the antagonist in Above the Rim. His iconic portrayal of the lead in the Temptations miniseries remains a career-high achievement, earning him critical respect that transcended his heartthrob status. By 2026, Leon has proven that he is a seasoned performer who used the fire of public scrutiny to forge a resilient career. John Witherspoon as Wild Rudy, the crude, hilarious, yet cunning manager who provided rare moments of levity amidst the band's growing tensions, was portrayed by John Witherspoon. Born January 27, 1942, in Detroit, Michigan, he was 49 years old when he brought an explosive energy and a natural gift for improvisation that made his character unforgettable to black audiences. John Witherspoon passed away on October 29, 2019, at his home in Sherman Oaks, California, at the age of 77. His death was a massive shock to Hollywood, with the cause identified as a sudden heart attack after years of relentless work. At the time of his passing, he held an estimated net worth of approximately $8 million, leaving behind a colossal legacy through classic roles in the Friday film series and his voice work as Granddad in The Boondocks. However, behind the infectious laughter on screen was a life tethered to the anxiety of being replaced and the financial burden of supporting a large family. Despite his massive success, Witherspoon lived in a constant state of overworking, driven by the haunting memory of his impoverished days in Detroit. This led him to rarely turn down any acting gig or stand-up comedy invitation, even as his health began to seriously decline. The accumulated stress of maintaining the funny man persona while his body slowly gave out made his final years a silent race against time. Yet that very dedication turned him into a symbol of perseverance. Witherspoon didn't just perform for fame. He performed to survive and protect his loved ones, turning his personal fatigue into a lesson in resilience for younger actors. His life created a national father figure monument that remains vivid in the hearts of fans even in 2026. Hawthorne James as Big Red, the brutal record label owner who was willing to use violence and manipulation to stifle the talent of young artists, was played masterfully by Hawthorne James. Born April 3, 1953, in Chicago, Illinois, he was 38 when he brought a level of menace so authentic it often overshadowed the vibrant musical sequences. The role was so successful that it defined his career, linking him permanently to gritty and terrifying characters on screen. In 2026, Hawthorne James is 73 years old and still occasionally acts in crime series or low-budget films like Incandescent Love. Currently, he spends most of his time writing and directing local plays, while also lecturing on acting techniques at various arts academies. With an estimated net worth of $1 million, he lives a modest life, enjoying the respect of colleagues who consider him a master of the villain archetype. However, playing Big Red so effectively brought Hawthorne a unique kind of pain. He often faced prejudice and even real-life threats from audiences. His career was also limited as Hollywood repeatedly pigeonholed him into stereotypical criminal roles, making an actor with a master's degree in drama from the University of Michigan feel insulted and trapped in his quest for deeper psychological roles. Despite this, James turned that frustration into the strength needed to prove his value through classics like Speed and Seven. He proved that a great actor can turn audience hatred into a prestigious medal of talent. His life in 2026 is a picture of self-possession, simply contributing to the arts in his own way and turning the darkness. Tressa Thomas as Duck's baby sister. The character of Duck's little sister, a young girl with an astonishingly powerful voice in the Matthews, was played by Tressa Thomas. Born April 2nd, 1979 in Chicago, she was only 12 years old when she captured the audience's hearts with her innocence and soul-stirring vocals during the living room scene. This brief but brilliant appearance marked her as one of the most promising child talents of her era. As of 2026, Tressa Thomas is 47 years old and is currently focused on her career as a music producer and vocal coach, alongside performing in independent theater projects. After years of professional highs and lows, she has found stability training a new generation of artists in Chicago and occasionally guest starring in television dramas. With an estimated net worth of $500,000, she chooses a quieter life, staying away from the glittering but treacherous spotlight of Hollywood to protect her own peace of mind. But early fame came with psychological tragedies that a child was ill-equipped to handle. Following the film's success, Tressa faced the heavy pressure of becoming an early economic provider, leading to burnout and a loss of direction during her teenage years. She has spoken openly about the pain of being abandoned by the music industry as she reached adulthood and the long periods of depression she faced when she couldn't replicate her initial massive success, causing her career to stall and nearly vanish from the entertainment world. Overcoming these fractures, Tressa learned to heal through the very music she once feared. Instead of chasing the illusion of fame, she focused on lasting spiritual values, participating in charity work to support gifted children in need. Her story in 2026 is not that of a superstar, but of a woman who bravely stepped out of the shadow of her past to build a meaningful life, turning her childhood wounds into the fuel that lights the dreams of others. Anne Marie Johnson as Sydney Todd. Sydney Todd, the sharp and ambitious music manager in the group, was portrayed by Anne Marie Johnson. Born July 18, 1960, in Los Angeles, California, she was 31 when she presented an image of a modern, independent, and fierce black woman in a male-dominated music industry. This performance solidified her status as one of the most powerful television actresses of the time. By 2026, Anne Marie Johnson is 66 years old and maintains an impressive presence in the industry, currently holding recurring roles in legal dramas and serving actively on the board of the Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA. She is not only an actress, but also a highly influential political and social activist in Hollywood, frequently appearing in forums to fight for the rights of women and people of color. With an estimated net worth of $4 million, she is one of the most financially stable members of the cast. But behind the toughness of an activist are the scars from constantly confronting injustices within the entertainment industry. Anne Marie has endured periods of severe psychological stress when her career was threatened by her outspoken political views and her refusal to compromise with Hollywood's harsh beauty standards. She has shared the loneliness of standing up against powerful forces at SAG, leading to sharp personal conflicts and a silent boycott from some major studios, forcing her to fight tooth and nail to maintain her position for decades. Nonetheless, she stands firm as a symbol of integrity. Her success in works like In the Heat of the Night and In Living Color is evidence of undeniable talent that helped her overcome all political barriers. Her life is a song of pride and courage. Theresa Randle as Brenda, the loyal and supportive girlfriend whose relationship with the group's lead singer was tested by the cruel temptations of the music industry, was portrayed by Theresa Randle. Born December 27, 1964, in Gary, Indiana, she was 27 years old when she brought a delicate balance of vulnerability and strength to the screen. Her performance acted as the moral anchor for the film's romantic stakes, making her one of the most beloved female faces of the era. As of 2026, Theresa Randle is 61 years old and has become one of Hollywood's most mysterious disappearances. After decades of success in blockbusters like Bad Boys and Space Jam, she has largely vanished from the public eye, with no active social media and very few public appearances. With an estimated net worth of $1 million, she is currently living a private life in Los Angeles. though her absence from recent Bad Boys sequels has left fans questioning her current well-being and whether she has retired permanently from the industry. However, the silence surrounding Randle is underscored by recent, distressing headlines that have worried her fanbase. In 2023, videos surfaced online showing the actress in a fragile state, appearing to use a walker and looking significantly different from her Hollywood prime. These images sparked a wave of rumors regarding her health, with some reports suggesting she has been battling a chronic illness that has robbed her of her mobility and career momentum. Yet Randle's legacy is preserved in the iconic roles she left behind. Her work with directors like Spike Lee in Girl 6 and Malcolm X remains a testament to her elite range and poise. In 2026, even in her silence, she remains a symbol of an era where Black beauty was celebrated with depth and nuance. Kasi Lemmons as Cookie, the gentle wife and steady support system, who had to endure the storms of her husband's ambition and the changes within the group, was played by Kasi Lemmons. Born February 24, 1961, in St. Louis, Missouri, she was 30 years old when she brought a subtle, tender performance filled with inner strength that softened the harsher edges of the musical story. As of 2026, Kasi Lemmons is 65 years old and has completely transformed into one of the most talented and influential female directors in Hollywood. She is busy with large-scale film projects following the success of the Whitney Houston biopic I Wanna Dance with Somebody, and frequently teaches at prestigious film institutions like NYU. With an estimated net worth of $2 million, she is a prime example of a successful transition from actor to the storyteller behind the lens. However, Kasi's journey from in front of the camera to behind it was a battle of blood and tears. She faced immense skepticism from producers when she first tried her hand at directing, coupled with the heavy pressure of balancing a flourishing career and the responsibilities of a mother of 4. The extreme stress during the production of her debut masterpiece, Eve's Bayou, once pushed her to physical and mental exhaustion, as she fought for every frame against studio interference while facing rumors of a marital rift due to her grueling schedule. But it was those very pressures that forged the resilient Kasi Lemmons of 2026. Her brilliant achievements, such as award nominations for the film Harriet, are the most powerful answer to those who once doubted her. Her life is a story of rebirth, where a woman refused to be framed in supporting roles and instead wrote the script for her own life. She is no longer just Cookie from 1991. She is a cultural architect, turning the pain of women into films that move millions of hearts. Harold Nicholas as Sarge, the group's legendary no-nonsense choreographer who pushed the young men to achieve physical perfection through their dance routines, was portrayed by Harold Nicholas. Born March 17, 1921, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, he was 70 years old when he brought an authentic pedigree of tap dance royalty to the set. His presence wasn't just a role, it was a bridge to the golden age of entertainment, providing the cast with a masterclass in stage presence. Harold Nicholas passed away on July 3, 2000, at the age of 79 in New York City. His death was attributed to heart failure following a surgery, marking the end of a legendary career that spanned over 7 decades. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated to be around $1.5 million, though his true value lay in his status as one half of the Nicholas brothers, arguably the greatest tap dancers in history. He left behind a legacy that inspired everyone from Fred Astaire to Michael Jackson. But behind the dazzling footwork was a life marked by the exhausting labor of a black performer who had to be 10 times better than his white counterparts just to be seen. Nicholas spent decades performing in segregated venues and dealing with the heartbreak of seeing his artistry diminished by a racist studio system that often cut his scenes in the South. The psychological toll of being a living legend, who still had to fight for basic respect, created a hidden layer of fatigue that shadowed his later years, making his final performances an act of pure, defiant will. And even that struggle became a part of his greatness. Nicholas didn't just dance. He flew, using his body to defy the limitations placed upon him by society. His appearance in the 5 Heartbeats allowed him to pass the torch to a new generation, ensuring that the history of black dance would never be forgotten. Today, he is remembered not just as an entertainer, but as a pioneer who turned the pain of exclusion into a rhythm that the world still tries to follow. Looking back at the 5 Heartbeats, it's clear the story didn't end when the music stopped and the final scene faded to black. What began as a powerful on-screen journey has continued for decades in real life, shaped by success, setbacks, reinvention, and moments no script could ever capture. The cast carried pieces of those struggles and triumphs into their own lives, evolving in ways that are just as compelling as the story itself. Now that you've seen where they are today, which journey truly stayed with you the most? Which transformation surprised you or even moved you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this then and now, don't forget to like, subscribe our channel, and stay tuned for more stories like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!